Welcome back, everyone. Today, I'm working on the inside, as you can see. And one of the things that I've been meaning to do for a very long time is to jump in here and do all the grounding wires. So I just got back from the store. It's gonna take a little while since the engine's really hot, but you won't have to worry about that because of editing magic. So, yeah, this looks a little short because it is. I just took off this, which is like a quick disconnect. I think this is part of the issues I've been having. Sometimes the car just doesn't start. I just turn it on and then it just completely blanks out. I think because this thing's not the best designed in the world, or it's just corroded. But I cleaned that up, haven't had the issue since, but I don't really want to put it on there anymore. So I was able to actually get that to fit, but if you look really close on here, you can see that the wires, the copper on the inside is super old. So I just went to the store. The one thing that I did buy, I just got the battery cable here. Now this is 12 inches, which is way too long just to literally fit that distance, but it's the shortest one they had and it's 4 gauge. So it's gonna be perfectly fine for this little itty bitty car. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. And then once this whole thing cools down, then I can jump in and do all the grounding wires, like for the transmission and the engine and all the stuff around the chassis. All right, so we're gonna loosen that guy up and then put you down here off to the side. And then we're gonna move on to this guy. I've already loosened him up on both sides. Okay, so maybe I'll start with this one because it's easier. Finish that off. And then this guy, there we go. It's gonna come off. This one was really warped. So I just put this on so I could go to the store. But this one was a really weird shape because whoever had it on here just stuck this, and that is not round. So I don't think that was getting very good contact to begin with, which is why I'm doing this. That looks nice and clean just like that. And of course, clean up any nasty stuff you got. This little screw doesn't fit very well in here, but it does fit. So that's just gonna have to work because that's the screw that fits inside the body of the car. So yeah, I'm gonna shove that guy in there. I might have to move this a little bit just to make sure that it gets nice contact, but the contact that it's gonna get is only gonna be on the unpainted part, which is that circle. So we'll see. All right, I got that shoved back there. Good contact. And then this guy, of course, I just pop on there and tighten up when I'm ready to plug everything back up. And this guy, I got the inside nice and cleaned with a wire brush. So it's clean as it's gonna get on the inside. Of course, the terminal on the outside is nice and clean. So again, once I'm done with all the other stuff, I will hook that stuff back up and we'll be in business. Now, we gotta start on the body, the chassis, the grounds, everywhere else. And for those, I am going to be making my own. And I could have done this with the battery one that I bought, but I was gonna do a little bit of both. So I have these left over, some old speaker wires. So this is your power and this is your ground wires. Really thick gauge. I believe this is a 4 gauge on this one. But I've got some of this stuff left over. All you need is the terminals. So whichever size that I want to use here, or I could use one of these terminals. I could use a bunch of different things. But I've got a little bit of everything up in here. And one of the great things is I got one of these. I know it's not the best that you can have. The hydraulic one is the best, but this is a super crimper. So you're gonna put it in there and then you're gonna squeeze them together and it's gonna make it one. So never used it before, but we're gonna. All right, so the first one that is the most easily accessible is the one up front. So we've got this reservoir that's in our way. And if we move that out of the way, just set it right up there, we can look in here and we can see that we've got this one right here. There's a ground strap that goes right there. And if you follow it down, you can see right there is where it inserts in. So I'm gonna take this out and replace it. Just got it removed right up there. And then right down there where you can see that's where it was. They're both gonna be 10 mils, pretty easy. I just get an extension on this one, and also down there, just a little bit of an extension. Lots of room over here, no issues there. This one, you just have to kind of move it out of the way. I am gonna clean both sides up, so that one doesn't look bad, just a little dirty. And this is what we've got. So I need to clean everything on this guy. This guy's nice though. This one looks pretty clean for contact points. But I'm gonna go ahead and take the shielding off and see what we got on the inside. All right, so that's actually quite a beefy wire. A lot more than I thought it was gonna be on there. I was able to save this, so I'm gonna keep this little plastic covering in here so I can put it on the new one that I'm gonna put. But these have already been crimped, so I can't keep these, the ones with the little lock on there, so they don't twist too much. But this is what I'm gonna be replacing with mine. All right, so I've got my size. So the whole size I know is going to fit through here. So we've got that. And then I need to find the proper diameter here that's going to fit over this gauge. So I've got one on there, so I know this one fits just enough, which is perfect. So all we gotta do is trim it on however much it's gonna fit over. So I'm gonna measure it here, mark it, and then use my razor to cut all the way around to strip this wire. There we go, just cut it and take that off. Now we've got the exposed wire on here. So we'll get our little cap, place it on there. And this one, I know they have different ones. This one, for whatever reason, comes in millimeters and not gauges. So I used 6 on the last one, just something smaller than what it is. Make sure it crimps down super, super tight like it did. This is what it looks like after it crimps, and it's definitely not going anywhere. I've tugged on this as hard as I can. It is now one with the copper. And another cool little thing that you can do is you can put heat shrink on here. So I just got a piece of heat shrink. I actually cut it in half because it was too long, just so I could cover up the collar so we don't get issues like this one. This one's not too bad. I don't think you'll see it on that one, but you do see it a lot on the battery terminal, the old one that was up here where I showed you guys. It started to corrode up at the tip. So that's what I'm gonna do for this one, just to cover it up as much as I can. And there we go. Look at that gorgeous thing. Nice and heat shrinker sized. There you go. Both ends, brand new wire, no corrosion. So now I'm just gonna throw it back on where it was before, make my engine bay look a little more red, possibly blue. Probably should have gone all blue, but this one's a thicker gauge wire, so I'm gonna use this all up beforehand. And there we go. But I almost forgot about the little cover. All right, there we go. It's like nothing ever happened. You can kind of see that little bit of that heat shrink on there. Boom, 1 down. Well, technically 2 down. All right, next one we're gonna need to remove the breather hose for your intake, which mine I thought was gonna pop out a lot easier than this, but we're there already, so there we go. I'm gonna put, oh geez, oh God, oh God, oh God. Okay, so put that back together, move it off to the side, and you're gonna look in here, and you're going to have this ground strap. Now, if anyone didn't know already, I have an automatic, and I guess there's a difference between the automatic and the manuals and also the different years, but this is the general locations of these things. So right back here, that's the next one I'm gonna grab. This one, again, definitely looks corroded. I don't have anything that is broken, but they're definitely seen better days. Shaboinkle, all done, yippee-ki-yay, moving on. Moving on to the next one. I've tried to get it as best as I can. It's all the way in the back on the firewall, the chassis. So let's focus down here. Now you can see it in this angle. So you've got this one right here where that rusted nut is, and then it comes around and then it comes up. You can't see the end of it where this one goes whoop and comes up, but that's the one that we're trying to get. Can't really get a good angle on it. There we go. That's as best as I can do being in here upside down. That is the wire. All right, you might be able to see it a little bit down there, but I did get that one replaced. Be able to kind of see it way down there, that blue one. Now, really, the best way to get to that is to jack up your car and go underneath, because there is a decent amount of room down here. If you look down here, there's some room down here, and if you look that way, that's the floor down there. So you can reach your hand up through the bottom and get those 2 points. It's much, much easier from the bottom to get those last 2. So I've replaced this guy, the one that we just did back there. I did that one, and I did the one up front, which is covered up. I believe that's all of them, but I'm doing the best I can to figure out where these are based on the forums. Okay, so I think that's all of them. I rechecked again, couldn't really find anything, but if I did miss one, please let me know. So up above, I've got to put everything back. So I've got to put the 2 bolts back on the battery strap. I've got to put the battery terminals on and tighten those up. And she'll be all happy slappy.